What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. And as I've pretty much gone through everything there is to know about this particular character, uh, hopefully we'll be winding it down now. I feel like I've said after this video all I need to say. Obviously, I will still have the Eliza Bleu files going on Twitter if anything new comes out. But I think that you're all getting fatigued a little bit too. I think we all get the point, right? There's a lot of questions that need to get answered. And hopefully Tim's reporter that he sent out can do some good work and do some digging. Hopefully Eliza comes forward and helps clear some things up, because I still think that she could do good work, and I don't want her to stop helping people that need help. And so that's why I've kind of, I just feel like, all right, I've made my point. There's not a lot of value in beating a dead blue-haired horse, so to speak. But I do want to take the opportunity to thank you all for being so supportive of me, and to remind you one last time here. If you obviously heard me talk about my coffee, I'm not going to talk about anything particular, but just check out the reviews. And see that I'm being honest about, standing behind our coffee is fresh roasted on demand. You're not going to find a fresher coffee out there online anywhere. We have our Valentine's Day gift boxes. We have a dozen organic teas. Our teas are like a huge sleeper hit for us. People love them. Our hot cocos. And this video is also sponsored by Meta PCs. They put together this nice, easy page for me. And I worked with them, obviously, to get a good, better, best, and ultimate build. I actually use this as literally the computer I use. You can get them wrapped or unwrapped, whatever you want. They also do, ready to ship. They do laptops. They do lease to own. They do still do custom builds. So I'm going to leave a link to that folder, or to that page, to help you make your decision a little bit. Promo code the Quartering there. Also, you'll save money too. So first and foremost, I put out a new Twitter file today. It's not getting the same traction as yesterday's did, but I think that's because it coincided with me coming back to Twitter, and it also had more of a connection with the internal Twitter employees and staff, which I've got more to report to on tomorrow. But what I do hope is you'll head to my Twitter. It's my pinned tweet. If you like, this level of in-depth reporting, I'll ask that you share it. Leave a like on it, share the posts. This happened today. Eliza Bleu was literally trending with Elizabeth Warren. Who could, what an amazing thing, that's because of all of you. So if you're on Twitter and you think, and you want to help, just share this thread, because I think it does a great job showing how some of the things that I'm going to go through. By the way, I have a live stream tonight at 5:30 right on this channel too, where I'm going to go through more in depth some of this stuff, because this topic is a little heavy, better suited for a live stream. But essentially, I feel like I make a very strong case for how Eliza Bleu took credit for removing bad images off of Twitter. She burst onto the scene, essentially. I'll share a little bit of it, but definitely go check out the whole thread. This is how she really burst onto the scene. This kind of viral thread where she essentially is taking credit, in my opinion, for Twitter removing terrible images. Her initial tweet on November 20th had 70,000 likes. I never had a tweet with 7,000 likes, I don't think. So it obviously garnered a bunch of followers, and she went through it and talked about how all these hashtags, these popular hashtags, it's bad. She said, update. Some other hashtags outside of the main three are still actively engaging and sharing it, except the main three were still sharing them. But, and just so happened the very same day she released this thread, or maybe it's a few hours later, at 5:56 a.m., Teslarati, a pro-Elon Musk news site, had a whole piece written up for her talking about how great she is. And this is at 5 a.m. I guess I don't know exactly what time this tweet was at, but it's a little suspicious. And so she burst onto the scene there, gaining 56,000 followers that month and over 100,000 followers the next month, on her rise to the I took care of, terrible things on Twitter, and, this is a big deal, except it was not gone. I have irrefutable evidence here in my thread as early as December 1st on Twitter. People were pointing out contradictions in her claims. Users were reporting publicly that there was still plenty of actively being used to trade terrible material. This was from an open secret, archived here. December 3rd. Again, this is all days after she claimed it was gone. Days after these, on December 3rd, these popular trafficking hashtags remained live on Twitter. People close to her begged her to address the situation, get back, and maybe delete her thread because it was not true. She ignored it as the new followers poured in. You can see this image right here. Still live on Twitter. You can find it yourself. It's heavily pixelated, so you don't have to worry about anything, really spicy. Curiously, pro-Elon Musk Telsorati had an article written and ready to go, released the same day as the viral thread. At this time, she's a relatively obscure account on Twitter, but had gained nearly 170,000 followers in 60 days. By the way, follow me on Twitter. And for weeks, by the way, she let the world believe that this problem was solved, which meant people stopped looking, right? People stopped working to find a solution. Well, as late as December 4th, Twitter Trust and Safety was reaching out to other people. So on December 4th, now we don't know what the actual timeline is, but we do know what I've heard is that the tool itself to report these type of images on Twitter had been broken for some time and was still broken on December 4th. So people couldn't even report this stuff. And then people start wondering, hey, can I ask you about, your past? And I think that there's a fair criticism here to so you can't say, hey, relive your worst moments of your life for my podcast so I can get super chats. I get that. But there's also really no clear information out there. People say maybe it's on her podcast. We've seen the video where she referred to her picture being used to catfish men as a form of that, which it is not. So all I've seen is that. If there's something more that exists, well then, okay. But then we've seen this. This is a recording of Katie Herzog apparently interviewing Eliza Bleu. I'm just share a little bit of this.
I don't know if for me to tell my story at length is going to take a while.
I don't even need that.
Questions about my story is going to take a while.
So I know the basics of your story because I've listened to your podcast.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what the question is.
Well, I can ask you the questions.
I didn't agree to this. All I agreed to was answering a few questions about Twitter.
Well,
again, she doesn't work for Twitter. She gets this interview. People, I don't know who Katie Herzog is, long term or whatever. Apparently, she's asking, hey, can I ask you some questions about your past? And she's very aggressively saying, no, you cannot ask about my past.
Okay, sure. That's totally fine. But can I ask you the questions or email you the questions and you can decide if you want to answer or not?
Did you ask Amanda in advance to do that?
No, I told her that I wanted to ask you about the Twitter stuff and about your own story.
Okay, so you deceived Amanda, didn't tell her everything you wanted to ask me, and then you got a survivor on the phone and started asking her about her personal trauma.
No, that's not what happened. I said...
Katie, I think we're probably going to be done here. Please, just next time you want to speak to a survivor about their trauma and bring up their own past.
I literally asked her. I'm going to read you. I'm going to read you. I'll read you the message that I sent her.
Please be honest in advance
I won't.
Because there are times when I feel cool about talking about it, and there's other times when I don't.
I'll read you the message that I sent it to her. You're not listening to me.
I was totally comfortable talking about Twitter. If you were going to ask me,
why? Why would you want to talk about Twitter? Maybe because you wanted the clout goblin it?
About my own traumatizing story, I would have appreciated a little bit of a heads up. And you know what? I think you're a cool person. I always have. And I know you're cool with Tim Dillon, and I would have appreciated a little bit more respect just off.
You're not listening to me.
That's a weird name drop.
Here's what I said to her. I said, I'm interested in the Twitter changes as well as her history as a survivor. That is what I told her.
Okay, then I'm going to speak to her about that, because then she messed up and didn't tell me what's up.
Okay, well,
so I apologize for blooping out on you. She should have told me that. I'm going to go get in her ass. So
can I ask you the questions?
I'm not cool with it. It's been a long few days, and honestly, I don't feel like rehashing my...
Okay, exactly. She doesn't want to talk about it. And look, I get it. If it was like your worst moment in your life, you don't want to talk about it. But that is a very aggressive response. So I think that that's curious, very combative. And she seemed to be panicking there. Like she doesn't want to talk about it. You know, I think, and this was shared by Fair and Balanced, by the way, who's been covering this pretty deeply. You know, I don't know. How about this? My letter to The Weeknd. Dear whatever, my name is Eliza Sipe. That is an AKA for her. I was thinking of maybe I would introduce myself, being that I really want to work with you and be in one of your music videos. See, I'm kind of a dreamer, except for the fact that they like to dream out loud. Really, really loud. I'm pretty sure that this blog is going out to some kind of Google News alert, or that your PR person manager. So publicly asking to be in a music video. Again, does this sound like the actions of somebody who's being put in music videos against their will? And there's so much more we'll discuss on the live stream. I really can't wait to just be able to take the filter off. I really appreciate everyone supporting. I appreciate everyone trying out the coffee. I see a lot of new customers coming in. I know you're going to love the product. If you don't like coffee, we've got tea. If you don't like tea, we've got hot cocoa. If you don't like either, we've got merch. We've got K-Cups. We've got chocolate-covered espresso beans. All ready to go. Fresh brewed on demand. Or if you're in the market for a new PC, I'll leave a link to this page that breaks down what I think are some good, better, best ultimates at Meta right now. And use my promo code, The Quartering, to save at either site. See you on live.